The face of a new World of Warcraft expansion is as important as the story itself. The setting needs to be interesting. The story needs to pull the players in. The world needs to feel alive, and the gameplay needs to keep the players coming back. But if the lead character of the expansion, the face of the game, does not resonate with the player base, none of the above matters. With Sylvanas now dead, and I do use the word loosely, who will lead the next chapter of WoW? Introduced officially to the players in Mist of Pandaria, unofficially in Kata, Wrathion really is the whittled wagon that could. He has always been a difficult character to hate, and maybe to some extent even difficult to love. He does work with us most of the time, but, usually he has an ulterior motive. Wrathion as a character would be your quintessential grey character. With the next WoW expansion being heavily rumored to center around the Dragon Isles and Dragonflights, the main character to drive the story of World of Warcraft will be more important than ever. You'll be forgiven for thinking that Alexstrasza or Chromie or even Ysera, they would be good fits. Why would you go to those lengths to actually bring Ysera back? There is one problem with these characters. They limit the ability for the story to progress. Speaking of progress, if you're not supporting the channel already on Patreon, Twitch, or YouTube, you are not helping this script progress. If everyone supported, this section would not be needed. So do your bit to save the script, and join the links in the description down below. Jump into Discord for an overload of WoW lore discussions and more. So why exactly do I have a problem with Alexstrasza, Chromie, even Ysera? Why do I think Wrathion is the character that could work here? Well, the problem with good guys, and your quintessential good guys, is they can only ever really tell good stories. The issue with those characters is as soon as you try to make their stories a bit darker, lead them down darker paths, you're very limited in their involvement in these darker stories. So either this character will experience the dark story alongside you, which could risk diminishing their power or believed power, as it were, their believed wisdom, as it were, or they can't partake at all. In other words, they send the player or the character in to do the work on their behalf. The problem again with bad guys is bad guys can only really tell bad stories. A bad guy, most of the time, and we are talking here about your quintessential bad guys, can only really do bad things. If a bad guy did good things, the player would most likely experience some kind of cognitive dissonance as an example or as a result of this. Bad guys like Zuvul, for example, becomes stale and stagnant because everything they do is so clearly, so obviously just meant to be a bad thing. Grey characters, on the other hand, are perfect for both. Because a grey character can be good, but also bad, very much in the same breath. They can do good things for bad reasons and bad things for good reasons. They can do good things for good reasons and bad things for bad reasons. They are grey, after all. Last time the Dragonflights appeared as a center to the story, their powers were diminished severely. With the creation of the Dragon Soul, everyone believed their powers were now gone. This, of course, we would later learn isn't exactly true. Their powers were spent, but it is slowly returning to them. In WoW Dragonflight, we may just see these powers fully restored. There's even more questions around the Dragonflights and their actions over the last few years. Why did Alexstrasza save Bolvar? Why does she need someone with one foot in death and one in life? Now, the easy answer here is, well, she needed someone for the Shadowlands. But could there be even more ulterior motives to this? Is it possible that Alexstrasza could have foreseen the actions of Zuvul, that long into the future, or that, that far from it actually happening? Maybe. We wouldn't know. But this is definitely a question that can be explored more. We know that dragons are meant to return to the dream upon their death, so why was Ysera sent to Ardenweald? Is this going to have any significance to the future stories of WoW? In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think that Steve Denuser and the team over at World of Warcraft would be remiss and would miss out on an incredible opportunity to include questions like this, the questions of the Dragonflights, the questions around end time and how the end times actually came about, not to even start and mention the stories surrounding Wrathion himself. All these stories are intriguing and actually one of the reasons I am hyped for a Dragonflight expansion. But those are stories, all of them, from Alexstrasza to Chromie to Ysera, that can be moved forward in the sidelines. You can have side quests and side stories on a smaller scale that tell the stories of these Dragonflights. I highly doubt that any of those stories can pull an entire expansion. Enter Wrathion, a character we have dealt with and who's betrayed us ever since Mists. His story has been building for years, and yet we still don't quite know what exactly it is he seeks. We know he wishes to save the Black Dragonflight, but to what end? A character like Wrathion ensures emotional balance within the story. Through him, you achieve connection. Since most players already love him as a character, you also do not limit yourself with him as the main driver. You needn't only push a feel-good story. Turmoil, twists, and turns are expected. If a character like Ysera or Alexstrasza turns on the player, this would lead to another Shadowlands fiasco, where the players struggle to marry the ideas of the past with the events of the present. With Wrathion, it really is just another day at the office. There is another reason why I believe Wrathion to be the obvious choice. Seeing the Dragon Isles through the eyes of Wrathion would be the hook Dragon Isles needs for the player to once more feel connected, feel like they are a part of something they understand, something familiar. And please do not underestimate the importance of this. Shadowlands suffered as a result of the player not feeling that connection, not understanding exactly what it is that we need to do here. While all the main cast were present, they weren't present enough. We as the players experienced much of Shadowlands through the eyes of characters we have never met, through the eyes of characters that we have no rapport and connection with. While our leaders, the characters that we do actually know, spent their time in Oribos, ordering us about. There is a massive question, however, when it comes to World of Warcraft Dragonflights and Wrathion's involvement. Can we trust him? Actually, do we dare trust him? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and if you wish to join the discussion or have any questions, we meet live on Sundays for the Q&A right here on YouTube. Take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, be good to each other, and I will see all of you in the next one. Peace.